Hey, what's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. Tom Clark back here with you on yet again another Friday. Thank you so much for tuning in today with us. Thanks for joining the show. Thanks for always being involved. Nothing to say with you. It was part of my usual intro, and I don't know how many people ever picked up on it, but I did it all the time. It has nothing to do with pro wrestling at all. It just always came out. Anyway, the show's been on air for a long time. I don't know what to tell you. 12 years, man. 12 years. I've put a lot of stuff, as you want to curse, I put a lot of stuff into my intros through the years, man, and that was just one of them. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Tom Clark back here with you. As I said before, if you have never watched the main event, bore you in for some fun AEW stuff and some pro wrestling talk, yeah? And we hope that you are ready for that and hope that you're ready to enjoy it because, man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about here today. We got a monster show to review, and AEW Revolution was awesome. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it and you're ready to do some talking because, again, we've got lots of stuff to talk about here today. We do have a guest on board before we get started here today. Let's go ahead and say a few hellos as we go. Fernando was first to the table today. We appreciate you very much. Sugar Shane is here. Where are you? There you are. E is here as well. What's going on, everybody? Saying RIP to Chuck Norris for sure. Saucy, good to see you. Happy Friday to you. JP is here. Yeah, Ray is here. What's up, everybody? Please be sure you check out Ray Sports and Slams live every Monday right here on the Boink Studios YouTube and on the Boink Studios, well, on Facebook. It's Ray's page and my page. So that may be changing soon. We may start broadcasting from Boink Studios. And as soon as Ray's page is ready, we'll be broadcast from there as well. So keep your eyes open. All right, kids, before we go any farther, let's bring our guest on deck. You know him from the Patton Report. You also know him from Bachman's Basement. He is one of the newest additions to Boink Studios. Please welcome back to the show, great friend of the show, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the reclusive, the elusive, the exclusive, one and only Chris Patton. What's up, Chris? How are you?
The reclusive? You
I have no idea.
Like I'm, Howard Hughes over here.
I have no idea. You got toenails in a jar. I don't know.
Yeah. You're not wearing a bustle. How rude.
No clue where all that came from. But hey, man, thanks for hanging out with me, dude. I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. We're going to get to talk about a great pay-per-view. 6 hours of action.
6 hours. Yeah, man, it was a big show for sure. One of the reasons I wanted to have you on is because, you know, you and I talk all the time, of course. And the other day you were messaging me saying that you were watching it. We were kind of trading notes, and I think in that moment I'm like, I just should have you on the show because like I've hit you before, and you're like, okay, I need to go watch that then, and it's like 2 hours left or something. So at least this way you've already seen it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to do that this week with the 6 hour. I had to break it up into pieces.
Yeah.
You know, I think with the Oscars were Sunday.
Yeah.
So my wife watched that, and then I've broken up the pay-per-view over the course of a couple days and got through it. It's a great show. There was not really a bad match on the entire card, honestly.
Oh, it's such a good show, man. Really, really good. Kids, you remember Chris? Chris, you remember the kids? Everybody, please say hello. JP has already done that. Jamel is here as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and start talking about this. I know at any given time, you know, Revolution is one. Well, not Revolution as an event, but you know, AEW as a company. Sometimes, depending on what kind of matches they're putting on and what kind of things they're doing, we can debate here all day long about how we feel about certain matches and hardcore, and we're going to get to that. But I wanted to kick this review off with Andrade, El Idolo, and Bandito. I don't steal your thunder, but real quick, I think that Andrade is doing absolutely the best work of his career. And brother, when you look at him, I watched that match and I'm like, this guy he was born to do this. He is a born entertainer. That's all I got. What do you think?
Yeah, he's back to like I think last time I was on the show, we were talking about him and him being back to what I expected when I was doing Wrestling Geeks Alliance when he was in NXT, which is a future top guy, top star, even back then in WWE. Now, where he ended up and how he got back to where he is now is kind of a crazy ride in itself. But he is now exactly what I thought he could be, and they got a star on their hands. They got I don't know what put the rockets on him, strap the rockets to him because. He's great right now, both in ring and nailing the character down. Having Don Callis there to be a mouth, if they decide to push him into a further main event role, I think it's going to work very, very well. But that match was incredible. That might be my favorite match of the night. It is the most wrestling of wrestling matches to enjoy. But it had a feel like a kind of like a Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero type WCW cruiserweight match or something, which I really, really enjoyed. Bandito is also incredible. And those two guys had great chemistry in the ring. I really enjoyed that match.
Yeah, Bandito is he's one of a kind. I mean, honestly, he's one of a kind. And these two guys, like you said, just absolutely brought it. I mean, we always talk about let's write the story and let's plot this out. Let's don't hot shot and this company hot shots a lot. It is what it is. I've beat my head against the wall many times in the past, and I'm trying to do better. So I'm not saying why didn't he just get in the Ring of Honor title, but do you think that belt, the way they're booking it, isn't on his level? Is he above that? Because why didn't he just win the title from Bandito?
I mean, honestly, I think he is kind of above that in the way that he's been booked so far, right? As far as like what I consider with the Ring of Honor title. Ring of Honor title is almost to me like a veteran's title. They just put it. They'll put it on someone. Like it's weird what they do with that title. It's also kind of sad in a lot of ways, knowing the history of Ring of Honor and how big of a fan I was of it. But yeah, it's I don't know. Andrade at this point, he should be more in the main event than like on the Ring of Honor card. The Ring of Honor card is like lower than their TV title to me as far as perception goes. So as far as like how he's things that are currently going on with Andrade and how he's looked in the ring and in just the overall character being this very larger than life thing and in a very shade of gray company, I think is someone that he should be up there with MJF, which would be very, very fun, especially if you think about what Andrade was in like NXT with hot tubs full of girls and stuff. They kind of are like opposites of the same coin to an extent, which would make for a real fun feud. So that's where I would go, but it's not my company.
I love that idea. I like the bit with the girl at ringside taking the selfies. I'm here for that. I enjoy that. I think it's part of his package now. It works. I mean, look, from time immemorial, all the way back to the Horsemen and before, but a lot, the Horsemen and then NWO, and then as we go on through the years through all these major factions, the biggest problem with heel factions, Chris, as you know, the manager, the mouthpiece, can promise the world, and he'll deliver to a point. But brother, if one of those guys is the guy and the world champion, that's where it stops. So like Andrade's already said, I want the world title, and it's not in the family. So right now, there's no real reason for me to predict he'll leave the family. But buddy, if that belt were to end up in the family, let me throw it to you this way. Can you even do that? Because all those guys would suddenly look at that guy and say, all right, when do we get our title shots, buddy? Like, wouldn't that be an issue? And would that be an interesting storyline, you think?
Yeah, I mean, it makes for a very interesting storyline, and it can definitely be done. I mean, you just go the Paul Heyman route, what he did with the Tribal Chief and Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso and Sami Zayn and how long that program ran. You got to have threats to the family itself to keep some of those guys busy before it implodes, right? It just depends on how long you want to tell the story. But this was very much a DX thing as well with like Shawn and Hunter to some extent. Like any good faction, you got to kind of look over your shoulder, even if that person is part of your family, right? Like, because at the end of the day, what it should be is everybody wants the top title. So yeah, I think that makes for a great storyline itself. And then Andrade is kind of a perfect guy to do that with. Because if he's the one that kind of gets ousted and gets the championship stolen from the family, then that just gives him a shot at just being a crazy hot babyface coming out of that. Yeah. Like against the Don Callis family, which is kind of hated already.
Yeah. And I don't know how they would work it. And maybe my prediction is dead wrong, but I've been of the mind that Ospreay is going to win that belt from MJF in England this year, and then eventually Kyle Fletcher is going to take it from Ospreay. Now, of course, the issue with that, Chris, is that leaves out Swerve, that leaves out Hangman, and that bit about I'll never challenge. Shut up. I mean, we all know that'll be reversed at some point, but that leaves out several top guys, including Andrade. So they got a lot of balls to juggle with this world title thing, man. It'd be interesting to see how they play it.
Yeah, I mean, we also later in the show we get the return of Will Ospreay, so that in itself would be the next guy up, right?
Yeah, for sure.
After he gets through Swerve, but you got a lot you can do with Andrade in the meantime, and I don't, there's plenty of opportunity there to put him into some interesting feuds, and tie in the family if you want to. I don't think he necessarily needs it. Outside of Don Callis being a mouthpiece for him, I think that actually works really, really well.
Yeah, right. JP to the comment about ROH is kind of viewed as NXT, below Raw and SmackDown. ROH is below Collision and Dynamite, and they have big plans for Andrade. I agree with all that. And Ring of Honor doesn't have to be quote unquote below anything. They still got that app, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to have to take an entire day or an entire evening and just binge all the Ring of Honor I've missed, because of all the shows I try to keep up with through the week. Ring of Honor is the one that falls off my radar a lot of times. And there's a lot of content there that they just keep loading up every week.
Yeah, but it's hard. I mean, the weekly show is not really anything to write home about, right? Like there's the big storylines, even for the Ring of Honor title, don't happen on the Ring of Honor show most of the time. It happens on Dynamite.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing. And Jeff, I actually, that was my point, is that storyline carried out with the inner arguing of that family for a long period of time with the title. So I think there's a lot you could do with that. That was just an example. This could go back to the Four Horsemen as well.
Sure.
Tully's jealousy of Ric Flair. It's been done throughout the history of wrestling pretty easily. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm here for it. Like I said, Andrade and Bandito just absolutely crushed it. I mean, I kind of predicted Mox and Takeshita would steal the show. I think you could argue 1 and 2 for those two matches, but man, Bandito and Andrade was just. I always want to use the words 5-star, but out of respect to Meltzer, I don't want to do that. But it's hard to think of other terms like top tier, great match of year contender. There's several things you could throw at it. Let me follow up with a match that maybe nobody's going to use those terms, but I did find it interesting, and I kind of want it to be like our second leadoff today. And that's Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, and Roddy Strong versus the Dogs. And you and I have talked about New Japan a lot on camera and off mic and everything. And I really want the Dogs to be successful. I mean, Gabe just lost again. He lost in a coffee match to Darby on Wednesday. I enjoyed this match, if for no other reason than I think Finley is lights out, a really, really good worker. And I think the three of these guys together are fun. Clark Connors is a beast. Gabe, of course, is a beast. I love this little faction. I really love it. In your opinion, is this one of those factions where do you predict gold? Do you just predict... And do the wins and losses, if they lose several in a row, is it going to defeat sort of their standing? We always talk, Chris, about how that company views wins and losses. So maybe it's an unfair question based on the company. But what would you say for yourself personally you want to see with that faction in AEW?
Well, it's kind of hard. I mean, it's hard because they're basically doing all trios matches at the moment.
Sure.
And there's a limited amount of trios teams, and what does that title even mean if you win it? And then you also have them still being tied heavily to New Japan, right?
Of course.
So how much do you want to give them is the question there, right? Like what does their contracts look like? What is their appearances? What's their date per year for AEW? That's kind of some of the weird stuff around booking around that kind of stuff, right? Like if they only have 10 appearances, do you want to put titles on them? I don't know how that works. I don't know what their contract structures look like, but they're still heavily involved in New Japan. So it could be that I don't know. I mean, they're individually, there's some great members of that group. I think the group itself is really good.
Yeah.
But how do you split them up? And that also affects what they're doing in New Japan, and how does that play into, whatever they're doing there? What's the behind the scenes stuff there is kind of makes that a hard question to answer.
Oh, sure. And I mean, all three guys are all elite at this point. They're all three officially all elite. And Finley had his last match. I think Callum Newman beat him because they're really strapping a rocket to that kid, which I totally understand why. But yeah, I mean, they'll eventually start making spot appearances here and there, I believe. And then Gabe had that press conference where he just F New Japan, F AEW, and Khan's sitting there beside him like this. And everybody plays out like Khan doesn't have control and this, that, and the other. I don't buy. I'm gonna have to get off on this. I just don't buy on any planet that Khan knows zero about what's going to be said at any given time. I do not believe a word of that. Gabe's a professional. He's not going to show up to that table and go into business for himself as another veteran did. I don't think he's going to do that. And I think that they love him. He's very entertaining. He says anything, which I think people also love about him. I'm here for it. So
right. Yeah. I couldn't remember what their contracts look like because they've still, like, up until the last time I was watching, the most recent I've called up in New Japan, they were still working. So I wasn't sure how that played out. I mean, I guess trios titles, right?
Yeah.
But does that division mean anything? Is that what you would actually want? Or would you like to just take two guys out of this group and put them in more of a tag team division, have them feud with like the Bucks and FTR and have higher quality, high profile matches as opposed to because the trios division in AEW is not my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, same. I think it can be fun, but is it? I'll put it this way: when the trios match comes up on the card, I'm here for it. But do I sit around thinking about trios matches? No, because remember there was that block of time when I forget how long ago it was. We were on the show talking about, well, who's the trios champions right now? We're going, wait, I don't remember. Like it was a thing we didn't remember. Like, geez.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of trios tag matches anyways. I think there's just a lot of moving parts.
Exactly.
Most of the time it turns into spots as opposed to like a great storytelling event. Not always,
sure.
But in these mid-card sandwich between a bunch of other great matches kind of match, which is how they tend to be booked, unless it's like something with Moxley involved, right? Your top guys like the Death Riders, or they're doing something like that. It's generally just like, here's three guys, watch them do some spots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like this match could have completely been like, it was a great match, but like, would it have hurt your feelings if it just wasn't on the card? Probably not.
I think it's important because if for no other reason than it showcases dogs as a unit, of course, but also I'm a big believer. I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now. I'm a big believer in the time has come to start doing something for Orange and Darby. And Darby, I think you could argue, I guess, I think Darby's had way more than Orange has had. Not that Orange has had nothing, but I think his biggest claim to fame was that international title run, which there's nothing to sneeze at. It was a great title run. But man, Darby had all that stuff with Sting and all the stuff that branched off of the Sting, association. So like, again, I'm not trying to do 1 and 2, but like, I really want AEW to do right by both of these guys. And then this past Wednesday night on Dynamite, Darby flat out got the mic and mentioned MJF and said, I'm coming for the world title. And I'm like, finally, this is what I want to see. I want to see him. Like MJF's full of bluster. We know he's egomaniac and everything, but Darby is a different animal. And we all know that. But like, be interesting to see how they could play that this time.
It's interesting, but that's where kind of when you get into the hardcore elements of what they just did in a Texas death match, like the specialness of how Darby would beat MJF is kind of like, can he? Just watched MJF hang a guy in the main event.
That's fair.
It's one of those things where it's like, well, Darby's character is this daredevil that can do all this crazy stuff. But if your main event, if MJF's out here legitimately trying to kill people, I don't know that he's too worried about Darby. And Darby, as far as being put in these main match situations, as someone who likes Darby, my nieces love Darby, but every pay-per-view he would lose. Any singles match he would lose. He would have some kind of like, so they just lost interest altogether, right? Like it's kind of the thing with Darby. the injuries didn't help after Sting's retirement, and then like going to take time to climb Everest, which good for you. That's a crazy feat. But it didn't help his, run or push in AEW.
Sure.
And, as much as I would love to see it, he's not going to be the guy to take the belt off MJF.
I don't think he will either. Yeah.
They're having MJF run through everybody right now to set up for Ospreay.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe I'm just thinking out loud and hoping for the sake of hoping, but like, I really want to see Darby with that world title at some point. I mean, be interesting to see how it plays out and who he were to get it from. So according, and keep kids, I literally just looked this up. So do not take this. If someone goes to go Google or whatever, they're welcome to. So he is around, meaning Darby's around 500 on pay-per-view, 9-8.
Right, but that's including his tag matches.
Sure.
So like his singles title matches or big single event matches, I would think that those odds are way lower. I know because there was a full year there where I was watching these pay-per-views with my nieces and he was just losing.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, it's the Bray Wyatt thing, right? Bray had the same issue. Bray would be booked on a pay-per-view to never win, and he'd win on TV all the time. And I'm like, what is going on? Yeah.
And I mean, he gets these big lead ups to the pay-per-view, but he's never able to get across the finish line or never like it. He is the perfect way to get the belt on him, unfortunately, is to have it be the surprise victory, kind of the Mick Foley thing, or put him in a 4-way match where he unexpectedly gets the win. And then goes on a run with the title belt and successfully defends it against a bunch of people. I think that would be the way I would probably go about it, just because, like I said, the thing that makes Darby special, you do with all of these other bigger stars, or not bigger stars, because I think, Darby in his own right is a huge star in AEW. But as far as like on the card and who have been presented to us as the top main event, the heavyweight champions, your Hangmans, your Swerves, your MJF's, Moxley's, they're all doing kind of the same crazy stuff that would make Darby special. Outside of jumping off something really high, I guess.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. And, I personally would kind of like to see him lean more into Sting territory, where Sting never really had to do any of that. And to be fair, WCW wasn't really doing a lot of that when he was there, but like, lean more into the mystery, like the coming down from the rafters and he's in the shadows. Like, I think I'd kind of be here a little bit more for that. Cause to your point, a lot of that stuff's already happening. MJF has proven that he doesn't mind shedding blood and getting as crude and as raw as the other guy. To your point, maybe that does defeat Darby's persona to some degree.
Yeah, I mean, if the whole idea is this guy will take it this far, it's like, well, you got 10 other people that are taking it this far, brother. Like,
right.
It's like this is like 1990s Japan right now happening.
Oh my God, right?
So like we saw Hangman and MJF get blown up on this card.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
So yeah, it's one of those. It's a weird thing with Darby. I think there's ways to get him the belt. I don't know that it's happening anytime soon. I think he could have a real fun feud with MJF for a little bit, but I mean, all signs to me point towards Ospreay blowing through Swerve, and then Ospreay versus MJF.
Yeah, Ospreay will take out Mox first, and then he'll, yeah.
So it'll be Mox obviously because of the setup that they did, and then blow through Swerve, and then on to MJF for the title, probably towards the, what was their November pay-per-view? I think that gives them plenty of time to get there.
Yeah, they got a lot of time, but we'll see how it plays out. It's going to be interesting. Let me move real quick to the women's match, Tekla versus Chris Statlander. 2 out of 3 falls match. I believe this match was hurt by card placement, because it was after Swerve and Brody, and just the way it was positioned, in my opinion, it was tough. I felt the crowd wasn't as into it as maybe they should have been. Part of me also wondered, was 2 out of 3 falls necessary? I didn't dislike the match by any means, but to me, it kind of feels like everybody jumped on the Tekla bandwagon. She's entertaining. Don't get me wrong. She is. I believe so too. But I still, for me, don't know if there's enough of, hey, I'm world championship material. I still don't know if maybe that's just Tom and everybody else is cool. But like, and it's not through her own fault. I just feel like maybe the buildup wasn't what it could have been. So did people care about this match as much as they should have? What did you think about this one?
Yeah, the women's division's in such a hard spot. I think everyone was really happy when Statlander won the title, but her character's kind of not. I don't know that it helped her character winning the title. Honestly, it's been kind of stagnant since then.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, why did this need to be 3 falls if we're going to do 2 kind of screwy finishes in the middle of the match?
Right.
I didn't like that they made the referee look like an idiot. I always kind of hate that, especially in the way it was done. But yeah, as far as is she championship quality? I mean, I don't know. That championship belt is not the top of that division, so it's kind of it's one of those things where the actual storyline is not anywhere near there because it's still revolving around Toni Storm, which is, this is trying to give someone else a chance to get to that level.
Mm-hmm.
But Toni Storm's just such a force in that company that a lot of times the rest of that women's division kind of is an afterthought if they're not working with Toni Storm. Unfortunately, I don't know how they break out of that. Realistically,
that's a good point. I mean, it's worth mentioning. It is the AEW Women's World Championship. It should be important. It is important. It kind of feels like it could have been the TBS title, and either way, it's going to be the same thing. Man, I don't want to bag on Tekla, dude. It just feels as though she wasn't set up for success. Maybe I'm wrong. It feels like we had way more of a connection to Stat when she won the belt than we did to Tech. And it's okay that Tekla's heel. I don't care about that. It just feels like there wasn't enough of this is Tekla's night. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
Also doing that, I mean, the 2 out of 3 falls thing is usually because you can't get it done in one fall and you have multiple matches. Like, think about the great Cesaro Sheamus storyline they did, right? Where they had 7 matches that led to like the Iron Man match or whatever. That's a great way that they could have done this.
Yeah.
And then whoever won would have came out looking good. Right. But like, yeah, I mean, how many matches have they had? Like, why are we doing 2 out of 3 falls? With Tekla having her little faction, I don't know that is necessarily helping her at this point. It's kind of I don't know. It was a weird match. I mean, nothing was wrong with the match. Like, as far as the in-ring work, I didn't like the way that Tekla picked up her 2 wins the match. They kind of both were. I mean, you get the pull on the ropes with a bridging pin and then the weird ref spot, which is I wasn't a huge fan of that. But the match itself and the in-ring work, like Statlander was killing her against the with the guardrails, or whatever they call them now.
I mean, JP's got a good point. It maybe could have been the main event of a Dynamite, maybe not be on a pay-per-view. I don't disagree with that. JP, if this is the match you're talking about. Jamel says, I'm ready for Marina to have a belt. I don't know if I am. I think she'll get it. She'll get one. I think she's fine where she's at right now, Chris, in my opinion. I think Marina just needs to keep chipping away. I think, God, man, look at her today versus 12 months ago. It's night and day. But, I don't know. We'll see. Fernando says, Chris Stat never connected with the fans. Tekla feels like a bigger star. It's interesting. That's an opinion. I don't think I agree with you, Fernando, but it's an opinion.
I mean, like I said, I think after Statlander won the belt, that the character got a little stagnant and maybe the fans didn't enjoy it as much as the chase itself when she won the belt. But like when she was going for the title, like there was a good amount of fans that were clearly behind her.
Of course.
And she's been over in the company multiple times throughout, her, 5-6 years there. So right. I don't, Tekla is the hot thing right now.
She is. Yeah.
But she's still nowhere on the level of like Toni Storm.
No.
Like that's the whole problem is like you have 2 women's matches on this. One is for the title, but all focus is around the Toni Storm match. And then you're also going to march out Ronda Rousey. And it's like, well, okay, the Statlander in your women's title was an afterthought on your own show.
Didn't need Rousey. I don't think they need Rousey. I think it's a bad move. I think the stuff that Rousey has said is beyond it's beyond reproach. I don't know. I would never have brought her in. I think it's a waste of time. You don't need her. You've got so many talented women. You do not need Ronda freaking Rousey. Like,
so from what I've gathered, this is only like a 1 or 2 match thing because she's just promoting her UFC fight.
Yeah, but still,
return to UFC. So if she's just going to come in and lose to Toni Storm, then I guess no harm, no foul, right?
If she loses, yeah, because it's not. They just don't need her. And again, like they've given people chances in that company that have said and done things that are just not awesome, and they're going to let her come back in, but then tell Trey Miguel he can't come in. All right, now it's nonsense.
I mean the other thing is no one cared when she showed up. That's the bigger problem. Like regardless of how you feel about Ronda Rousey as a performer or her personality or some of the things she said out of the ring, the biggest thing is she got into the ring and no one cared.
Nobody cared.
The crowd went mild.
The crowd went mild. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is never what you want at a big pay-per-view surprise. They've gotten louder pops for like
Fernando, let me cut you off, my friend. Stop crying about what she said. She denied Sandy Hook. Okay. There's some things I'm not going to sit here and tolerate. No one's crying. And sometimes people need to own up to what they say and be held accountable. I'm not having that on my show. It's not happening.
Well, I mean, even if you take politics out of it, she also has crapped on the wrestling business more than a billion times.
Every chance she gets.
To be a part of it again is in itself is kind of wild.
Yes.
And also knowing that it's just promotion for a UFC fight does not make me super happy that she is around or someone that I would rely to have any kind of long-term or long match with, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, like, do I really want Toni Storm, someone who hasn't wrestled? When's the last time Ronda wrestled? 4 years ago?
God, I don't know. I don't think it's been that long. Maybe.
It's been a while. So do I want to put Toni Storm in there with someone that could potentially hurt her? And then now she's on the shelf for 6 months. And there's all sorts of other reasons of why. I don't know. Is anyone talking about this Ronda thing other than people going like, why?
I don't think so.
Like, what is the,
They'll get mainstream coverage because it's her. And I'm sure her people will do things to get it out there. But again, they don't need it. I just don't get it. They just don't need it. I think it's more trouble than it's worth. It's more, again, a company that is full of very talented women. I didn't mean to get sidetracked, but I just don't know why we're doing it. Doesn't make any sense to me. We mentioned Swerve earlier. Swerve and Brody King. We knew this was going to be a good one. We knew it was going to be, I mean, of course, he brought the cement block out there, and it's one of the gimmick things that I hate the most. Because when they actually use it, it is obviously not real. And like, I'm not advocating for a man to have his head be put through a cement block. So nobody take me at that. But I'm like, when it looks so gimmicked, let's don't do it. I don't know. But anyway, again, not to get hung up on this future world champion stuff. Brody is such a legend. Like he is. You know what? Give him that Ring of Honor world title and then book him to the moon, dude. I mean, make and have him show up on every show, including Ring of Honor, all over that network. That's how, in my opinion, you build that title up where it should be. And I love Bandito, but I think Brody's awesome, man. What'd you think about Swerve and Brody?
I thought it was a good match. They had there's a couple of like 1 count spots that happen in a lot of matches that I was not necessarily the biggest fan. I think they should have saved it for this match, honestly, because it makes the most sense that Brody would be the guy to kick out of things. But yeah, they had some crazy spots. There was that vertebreaker on the floor with the padding pulled up. I thought that was insane. Really good match. We got a cool return. Yeah, I mean, if someone said that this was their favorite match of the night, I could see it. I could see it
too. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I'm just here for Brody, man. And I love Swerve. I think in a company with no MJF, he's absolutely your top heel. But I feel like MJF kind of needs to be the top heel because he's the world champion. But Swerve I think they're going to be a close 1 and 2. And to be honest with you, I kind of feel like that's maybe what it should be to a certain degree. You can have your 1 and 2 top heels. Then you can have a satellite group of heels that are dastardly and, Callus's guys. But when you get up to the point of an argument over who's the top heel, I kind of think we should know who that is. Maybe I'm old school in my way of thinking, but I think that's MJF at the moment. But Swerve, like I said, is a close number 2. What do you think about Swerve versus Omega again? I feel like we're going to get that out of the way first.
I look forward to that match.
Mm.
I don't know where that goes after that. I would assume Swerve beats Omega, and then he's got to be feuding against like Ospreay or whoever's next in line for MJF, however they set that up. Because like Swerve's supposedly next in line for the title shot, right? Like based on wins and how they've went about talking about his character and how the matches he's won.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where they actually go. Where does Kenny? That's the crazy thing is where does like Kenny was in Japan and then flew back for this pay-per-view, like
right, like
to do this run-in. So like, what is the goal with Kenny Omega? I guess is the, I'm assuming he's just here to have this one match with Swerve, give Swerve a win.
And on top of that, God, it takes me right back to the world title conversation. You've got Kenny Omega sitting there without the world title. Man, so many talented guys, as we know, vying for that world title. And then there's Kenny. It's kind of like a sitcom. And then there's Kenny Omega. Like he's right there, man alive. Like I've said before, it's an embarrassment of riches to have this level of talent working for you inside your company. At the same time, buddy, when it comes to start booking and assigning championships and man, that cannot be the easiest thing in the world to do.
Yeah, for sure. And these are all people that have held the title too that we're talking about, with the exception of Will Ospreay, right? He hasn't won it yet, right?
No.
Yeah, so yeah, with the exception of Ospreay, everyone else has held this belt. So it's also former champion, so you're always got to consider them to be in the mix a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess the thing is what is Kenny doing? What is Kenny doing in Japan? Like, what is that going to look like? Is this their big AEW star for a while with Kenny?
I don't know. I got to get caught up, but I say caught up. I think I'm a full show behind on New Japan Cup. And I talked to you off mic about that, about how they're still very much in a transition phase. And I don't know. I just, hoy vey. A lot of good, talented guys there, but man, they still got a little ways to go, put it that way. Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, obviously they could always use him. He could be used anywhere he goes. But I did find it interesting this past Wednesday when Swerve prompted the crowd to do Whose House. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I do that anymore. I don't know if I need him like being the villainous, dastardly, heel to end all heels, getting the crowds to say Whose House. Because like Nana stopped dancing. They've cut out a lot of that stuff, which I think makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's one of those. That's one of those weird things where that's the catchphrase, and maybe he's trying to be like, "Have I done enough to make the crowd boo me when I say it?" The answer to that is no.
No.
It's like Stone Cold and what kind of at this point.
God, don't watch Dynamite this past Wednesday. It wasn't a good crowd from what you could hear, and the what chant happened the entire night. I'm like, people need to grow up and move on from WWE. Look, when you go to WWE show, knock yourselves out. When you don't go to WWE show, cut it out. Like, and even at WWE show, you know how old that chant is? Let it go and move on. I don't understand it, man. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, at a WWE show, chant whatever you want because they're charging you like $300 a ticket.
Well, that's fair. Can't argue that. They ain't charging me because I'm not going. Yeah. Let's talk about a couple of these big tag matches. Talk about trios match for AEW World Trios Championship. Mystico and Jet Speed prevailed over the Don Callis family of Okada, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Davis to become your new champs. I like that Mystico's getting this renewed run. I think it's pretty cool. I like they all came out in the matching mask and everything. I don't have a lot of feedback on this other than it was a fun match. I think Mark Davis is a hoss. I enjoy watching him work. I think Kyle Fletcher is a future world champion. What else can you say about Okada? But with it being a trios match, I thought it was entertaining. They went a long time. They went 17 minutes and 10 seconds. So they had a long time to go. But what What'd you think about this one?
To me, it was one of the weaker cards or weaker matches on the show, but it was still very enjoyable. I don't have a whole lot of notes for this one, man. Like, I don't know. What did you think about it? maybe you'll jog something up.
I mean, again, it's the idea of jet speed is the future. Like Kevin Knight is the future, right? Like the guy is so insanely talented, and these guys together are a great little tag team. But like in terms of this match, I don't know. The great thing about the Don Callis family is that they can fill up any kind of match on the card, any kind of spot on the card, which is cool. I thought it was an entertaining match. I enjoyed watching it. Again, I didn't have a lot of feedback about it. Like it was good for what it was, put it that way.
Yeah, so, my overall takeaway from it was, why does this need to be a pay-per-view match?
Exactly right. Well, that's a fair assessment. I'm going to address this Fernando thing. Everybody's getting upset. Maria, I'm not going to put your comment up. I don't put up curse words on my show. It's my show, kids. And I have been very lenient with a lot of the comments that have come through here. And I always respect and appreciate my viewers. I've never lashed out at anybody. I'm not lashing out right now. But a lot of things that people choose to say and what they say are inexcusable. Fernando, if you feel that way, drop. We've got this notion that it doesn't matter what anybody says. It matters to me. And if nobody agrees, you don't have to agree. Don't have to agree, okay? Because a lot of the things that we just ignore, we ignore Ospreay, we ignore Darby, we ignore Jay Lethal, we ignore a lot of stuff, and we all talk about wrestling. I'm here to talk about wrestling. You're not wrong about that, but it's still my show. So, like, at the end of the day, you don't like it, you want to call Snowflake, then don't watch. You can drop anytime you want to. You're not obligated to stay here. You want to stay here to hate? I don't have to put your comments up. We're just supposed to ignore what people say like it doesn't matter. I think I'm past that at this point. I don't know. Like, again, I've always been respectful. I've had people say some of the worst stuff to me here on the show, and I block them and move on, or I just don't even address it. But, I've been as patient as I can be with some of this stuff. It's just too much. Apologies, Chris. You're my guest. So apologies for bringing that out. But
yeah, I mean, to wrap it back around, we're talking about wrestling. I think I summed up Ronda Rousey in wrestling in general. She's not here to be a wrestler. She's here to promote her next UFC fight. I don't think it moved the needle at all. The crowd on the pay-per-view wasn't impressed. No. This is someone who supported Ronda Rousey when she was in WWE before she started talking like negatively about the business she was actively working on which in itself is wild. So like I said, take all the politics out of it you want. I don't think that she does anything really for AEW other than maybe get a mention on ESPN, which is also kind of unlikely with the tie-in with WWE. So I don't know. Like, what was the end goal? Like, what was the end goal to promote? It's to promote her UFC fight. It has nothing to do with AEW. She'll be there for 2 matches. And the crowd didn't care. And if people are talking about it on social media, if you pull those comments up and you look at them, it's a lot of people being like, no one cares. So
yeah, it's true, because no one cares, because it means nothing. It just means nothing. And like, there's too many good people in pro wrestling who don't foam at the mouth. And I mean, at this point in time, I just much rather talk about those people that don't foam at the mouth, and they're here to actually give something to the business, and are here for more than just, I got to promote my next thing. I don't know. Again, if that makes me, if that puts me in the minority, so be it. It is what it is. I about lost my place here. Speaking of trios matches, well, this one's a tag team match. AEW Women's World Tag Team Championship, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Divine Dominion. That's Megan Bain and Lena Cross defeating the Babes of Wrath, Harley, Cameron, and Willow. Willow worked twice in the same night. Willow's awesome. I love Harley. This was a one and done, in and out pretty quick, man. Not a lot to say about this one, but man, I do like title changes when, they can be impactful. This was certainly impactful for sure.
Yeah, interesting match. How do you feel about the Babes of Wrath? Because I kind of dig the tag team, but I don't know where they're going to go story-wise.
I kind of feel like they put the belts on them so Harley could be elevated, which I'm here for. I think Harley's great. Harley has improved so much since she's gotten there. I mean, it used to be all that puppet stuff and everything, but buddy, she's really improved. And I think Willow is great. I mean, Willow with 2 belts, I don't think was ever necessary. So I think they had a good little run. Are they going to stay together? I mean, the good thing about that tag team name, you can make it a trios, you can make it 4 women, you can make it a women's faction, like an actual women's faction if you wanted to, and just continue to call it Babes of Wrath. So I think there's a future for it. Will they keep it together? I hope they just put it together for the sake of just putting the belts on them to have a tag team to face in that tournament. Maybe they did. I mean, it worked out. It worked out. I like them as a team.
Yeah. Do you think Harley's kind of like next in line for, or one of the next in line for going after the women's title? Because they do seem to be giving her like quite a bit of a push, and she is getting a decent reaction.
I think she could. Yeah.
But what would you do to go about, just, do they even need a breakup with her and Willow, or can they just be, we don't have any good guys, don't have any friends in wrestling anymore, Tom?
Ever.
But
ever. Yeah, ever. I mean, I keep them together. I don't think anybody needs to turn heel. Willow should never have turned heel with all that weird sky blue stuff they did. It never looked good, which is why they pulled it back as quick as they did. But like, I don't think you need to turn anybody heel here. Just have her go off and challenge for the world title. If you ever challenge for the TBS title, things are going to get heated because faces can't work in that company without trying to kill each other. So it is what it is. But I like to see her go for the world championship. I think her and Tekla would be a good match. Tekla is good. And I think that where Harley is still, earning her stripes and making her way, Tekla could carry her through those parts of the match. I think it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I felt like they would actually have pretty good chemistry in the ring together as well. If Tekla and her get together and kind of lay out the match beforehand. Yeah. I think they could have a pretty good match.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same point of view, as this was a way to kind of get Harley a title and get more eyes on her, more than anything else, as far as like the tag team run, like the gold itself.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm God, it's so hard to form together like predictions for some of this stuff, because like I said before, they've got so many talented people and X number of belts, which I guess that's the thought behind let's keep putting more belts in there because we got all this talent. I mean, I get it to a certain degree, but at the same time, when there's still not enough belts to go around because they're all this talent, woo, that's wild, man. That is wild.
Well, I mean, that almost points to like, do you need to do something different with maybe Ring of Honor as opposed to having a bunch of belts? Like, why not elevate Ring of Honor as a show?
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah.
I'm not saying go full brand split or do anything crazy, but why not, make that more of a focal point? Especially if you're able to do streaming on HBO Max or do some neat things. Maybe even just one match that's always Ring of Honor on your weekly TV, whatever you do to promote that. I think if you made it more focus on that brand, you would have more room for these stars, because it would elevate that brand in general in the titles, and overall it'd be pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. I think we're all advocating, kids, for Ring of Honor to be elevated beyond and above what it is at the moment. I'm here for that. You've got the brand, use it, utilize it. I'm not sure what we're doing by not utilizing it. It's odd to me. Let's see. Another women's match. Thomas Toni Storm defeated Marina Shafir. Everyone was banned from ringside. Should Marina have won this one or no?
No, I mean, I don't. That's hard to say, right? Like, because of the looming topic we've already talked about, I don't want to bring up. I'm assuming that is the match, right? With Tony and Ronda, like that's the setup.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So, you can't really have Marina win here to do that.
Yeah, look, I like Marina quite a bit. As I said about Harley earlier, Marina's also come a heck of a long way. It doesn't hurt that she's been working with some talented guys. It doesn't hurt that Mox has been coaching her up. I think her ring presence is much better than it's ever been. I think that, and I forget how it was, who was it that said that maybe she's the brains behind Death Riders. I'm kind of okay with that. I kind of like that, actually. So I love that maybe if they would go in that direction, I think I'd be here for that. But, I've heard people complain about Tony not having the championship and not being at the epicenter of the booking. I'm like, yeah, but you can't. I guess you could, Chris. You could maintain that for extended periods of time, But eventually somebody else is going to have to be rotated in. Do you know what I mean? Which I think is what's happened with Tony. She's still awesome. She's still a top spotlighted performer, but eventually it's going to have to be, you got to move people around, right?
Well, I mean, they're trying to build the rest of the division up too, right?
Sure.
Like, so she doesn't need the belt first and foremost, and this is going to be, I guess, a high profile match that she's going to be going into next, anyways. I would have had no problem if Marina won here, but based on the aftermath of this match, that doesn't, they seem like they had some things planned. So the go-to would be Toni Storm winning.
Jamel with a great comment. I'm tired of seeing her built up like a true baddie, but she loses all the time. That is not a bad thought. That makes a lot of sense.
You could say the same thing about Brody to some extent.
Ooh, fair. JP says, why not get rid of the squash matches and replace them with an ROH match? That'd be more entertaining. I agree with that too. Squash matches serve a purpose, so I won't get off on that too much. They do serve a purpose. I don't want several of them, and I don't want them all the time. I think today's crowd is far different than when they were in the 80s. I don't think crowds would put up with that too awful much. I mean, they'll do it to a point. I mean, we see them on Dynamite every week. It's so-and-so versus local hometown guys who always get a pop when they raise their arms. But I don't think you can do it in a full card of like that on TV like you used to in the 80s. I think we're just past it.
Yeah, and I think that much like you're saying, there's a time and place, right? I think you need the right star to do it for it to actually work or be effective. Like, not every person that's got some size needs to do a squash match. They could go in there and have a 5-minute match with local talent. Ric Flair used to do it.
It's true. It's true. Yeah,
you know what I mean. You can make a local guy look good and have a good match. But yeah, I would rather them just do a Ring of Honor match, honestly. Like that's kind of what I was getting at. It's like take one match a week, highlight that brand, get some of your top stars involved that you don't have anything or any like big storylines coming up for, and shift it to that show and make that show more entertaining. Give me a reason to log on to that app, right, and check out Ring of Honor.
That's a good call. Yeah. We spent a lot of time on this card because it's a big card, everybody. But let's see what else we got here. FTR. Talk about return. We had the return of Cope and Christian at the end of this match. AEW World Tag Team Championship. I was on the record as saying that after this match, I kind of want the Bucks and FTR to be done for a while because we've seen it multiple times. But I also said I knew it was going to be a banger because I knew it was. And I knew it was going to be a really, really good match. The Bucks don't age. I think they proved that again at this pay-per-view. They don't age. They're tremendous. FTR is doing their thing. I mean, it was a highly entertaining match. They had a lot of time to tell their story, 18 and a half minutes, or almost 19 minutes. I know you're a Young Bucks guy. Where do you fit this in among their string of matches? Do you think it's that good, or what's your thoughts?
I mean, it's a Young Bucks FTR match. It was good. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you rate them at this point. There's been like 10?
Many.
A lot. It was a good match.
Yeah.
I like the tie-in with it being the Bucks' hometown and them trying to give you the feel that the Bucks were going to win, right? And then FTR still is able to pull out the W. I like the old school heat FTR got by coming out with like Celtics starter jerseys on. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
They did some crazy things. There was a lot of like kick out, like some near fall stuff that it just tend to be in these matches, but like a lot of these top rope finishers for like 1 counts and 2 counts, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
But that's just that's just the kind of matches the FTR and the Bucks have.
Sure.
They've got to find whatever their next tag team is, though. Like whoever can split this up a little bit, like what is going to be the next big thing that can kind of have these big feud matches that they're going to carry on for a while. I mean, the setup for this afterwards is like, hey, we're going to do a TLC match. You guys ready for that? That's what it kind of came off with Cope and Cage coming out in the aftermath.
Yeah, and they cut that promo on Dynamite where they came out, interrupted the Bucks, and they were very civil and very respectful toward them. But there's going to be a match, and they're going to book it as it's a dream match. It's Cope and Christian versus the Bucks. And I mean, that works. That's fine. And they'll probably be face each other and then maybe a triple threat for the tag belts. They'll probably book it any number of ways. I mean, I feel like Cope and Christian come out of this with the belts. I do.
Yeah, I'm assuming that this is going to turn into some like tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my, as JR would say, match.
Right.
You got the Buck. Maybe they have to go through the Bucks, and then there's the Bucks are always kind of in between being good guys and bad guys to some extent. They screw them over for the titles. That's a 3-way TLC type match. I could see that easily happening, especially because the Bucks love their TLC matches as well. And that would be they did one with the Hardys. They might as well try to and they've done one with the Dudleys. So this would be the trifecta for them if they could do one with Christian and Edge.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I like Cope a lot. I think Christian is great. So, I love that guy, man. Talk about a guy that has just reinvented himself to the point of just every time he's on camera, he's just fantastic. It's going to be a good match. We'll see. JP says, I said no way Cope and Cage would come back, but I was dead wrong. I felt like they would. But here's what I'll tell you, man. I said, I think last week or the week before on the show, there's been so many stops and starts with Cope. Not his fault, but that tends to pour water on the fire pretty quick, where fans get excited to see the match and then he disappears. Again, no fault of his own. So hopefully this time everybody will stay healthy. Let's put it that way.
Well, if they go to the TLC match,
well, it could end, right?
That could end very quickly.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
No, but all joking aside, I hope that I would love to see Christian and Edge, and Cope have a nice little tag team title run. I think that breaks up exactly what I was talking about. Maybe you can get some new blood, a new tag team in there.
They got plenty.
They got tons, and those could be that. I mean, that's two guys that should definitely could easily elevate someone, right?
Oh yeah.
So you could get some great tag matches out and help elevate if they end up with the titles. But I assume if they do that match, they're going to end up with the titles, right? Like,
I would assume, yeah.
But yeah, like that. I think it makes complete sense. I don't know that, dude. I don't care about seeing either of them in the singles division. I think that heavyweight title picture is stacked anyways. So putting them into the tag division, adding one more great tag team in there, doing the TLC match, and then coming out of there and putting some younger talent with them, some of the other young tag teams that they have, I think you have a chance to elevate some other tag teams, some other guys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, Private Party's right there. I mean, Outriders are right there. Or Outrunners. I always call them Outriders. That's that old Sean Connery sci-fi movie, which I think came out in the 80s that I haven't seen for years. Let's see. David Down Under. What's up, my friend, Australia? How are you today? Let's see. JP says, this pay-per-view was the biting and surprise returns pay-per-view. What was it everyone's using? This biting thing has gotten out of control. Everybody's doing it. Remember when the finger pop was the thing and they would do the joint manipulation, and that was the thing that everybody did, and now everybody's doing the biting. It's like they go in phases in the business.
Yeah, like Pete Dunne was really big for that for a while.
Yeah.
The joint manipulation.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, the biting thing is hilarious because I always think of there's a match with I think it's like, I can't remember, Sting versus someone, and they're I think it may have been Ric Flair. And Ric Flair's been repeatedly cheating the entire time. And Sting gets put in like a face lock or something, and he just bites Ric Flair's hand really hard. And it's always like, that's how I would want it, to be used. But it is, when are they just going to have the bite off as a match? You just latch on to each other's arm as hard as you can with your teeth. And the first one to tap out loses.
The bite off. I like that. It's a vampire match.
Yeah, you can make the poster for the match like Jaws themed.
Yeah. You're afraid. What was the thing? Makes you afraid to go in the water. Makes you afraid to get in the ring. Something like that. Let's see. We've also got Jack Perry. He won the Blackjack Battle Royale and became your new AEW National Champion. I went on this big thing last week about Ricochet and how they needed to book him to build that championship, because right now the belt means nothing because they're not booking it to mean anything, because he's not getting enough reps to defend the title. Now Jack Perry has it. I think Jack Perry's great. I think Ricochet's great as well. It'll be interesting to see how this works out. But Perry with the championship, man. Did you see this coming?
I did not. Mostly just because I didn't feel like there was a huge build for it, really.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What does that do for Jungle Jack Perry, I guess? I don't know. What does this do for either guy, I guess is the question coming out of that match. I thought the match itself was fine.
Yeah, the match itself was fine. I like that they have their own matches that they are known for. Casino Battle Royale, they have matches, signature matches for the company. I like that they have those matches ingrained and we talk about them. I do like that. But yeah, it's a good question. I mean, again, it goes back to the argument of, is it too many titles, or the talent they have is not getting booked correctly? Is it a combination of both? Who knows? So yeah, I'm
is it too many titles or just too many matches on the pay-per-view?
There was a lot of matches, 12 matches. And of course, 2 of them were, 1.5 were on the pre-show.
Right.
Or 2.5 were on the pre-show. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just watched this and I almost forgot that Jungle Jack Perry had won a belt on the show.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's a lot to keep up with. If you're watching, I mean, when you're talking about it in retrospect, without looking at notes or whatever, there was a lot of matches on this show, remembering all the finishes, everything that happened.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything that really blew my mind about this match. Like I said, it's more of this comes into play of do they need this many belts? I don't know that the belt hurts or helps in the situation, but I also don't know where are they going with Jungle Jack Perry? Has that character already reached its ceiling?
It felt like he did before they turned him heel, but putting him back with Luchasaurus, I think is fine. They got a fresh coat of paint. It's popular again. It works. But to your point, they got to keep him interesting. That's always the challenge, is to keep these guys interesting, and women. You got to keep your stars interesting. You got to make people keep caring about them, or they're not going to care anymore.
Yeah, but that's always prefer them as a tag team now that they're back together.
No.
You're no.
Well, they could, but now no, because he's got that belt. And Lucha, man, I want this guy to be booked as a monster. I was going to say heel. Book him as a monster face and have him. It doesn't have to be title matches. But I just imagine maybe he and Brody have each other's backs one night, and you're like, my God, this could be, I was going to say Hawk and Animal, but that's going to be a weird comparison. Anytime 2 big guys get together, it's the next Road Warrior, But imagine if they kind of tagged up for a little bit. Man, that would be fun to watch. Just destroying guys. That'd be cool. So,
well, they've had so many opportunities with big guys they weren't doing anything with to just be just put them together.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they never do that. So I have zero faith in that happening. You had a whole there's a whole section of guys that just aren't even in the company anymore.
Yeah, right.
Guys they could have at least put in a tag team and had a Steiner Brothers, Road Warriors, Legion of Doom kind of deal going. But they also, that goes back into the thing of that's not really their style of wrestling either.
100%. Yeah.
So. It's the same reason why I don't think Luchasaurus is ever going to be the big dominant monster that you want him to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's also just not it's just not what AEW does.
That's fair. This is turning back around to the women's match. Willow did retain the AEW TBS Championship by defeating Lena Cross. That kind of goes along with what we were saying earlier. And then, of course, Lena had her revenge later in the card, if you want to call it revenge, with the tag team championship. So it is what it is. I'm glad that Willow kept the belt. We mentioned Mox and Takeshita. I believe Mox and Takeshita. I knew they were going to bring it. Mox is great. Ospreay at the end of the match, as you said earlier. Let me tell you what my first thought was when Ospreay came out. Number 1, very cool that he's back. Number 2, I thought, man, John was really coming off like a baby face, and the crowd was really warming to him. They ran those spots where Takeshita didn't want his guys to jump with Mox when he was down. Mox wanted to shake his hand. And they're really playing off of this as Mox turning face. And then Ospreay comes out to remind everybody, it's their fault I got took out. And I'm like, oh, that's right. It was their fault that he got took out.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was kind of great, right? We've had this run of Mox kind of being on the fence of walking this very tightrope of shades of gray, which I'm not the biggest fan of.
Yeah.
But Ospreay immediately coming out and it's like, oh yeah, I remember why we hate Moxley. That's right.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of fun. The match itself was really, really good. I think this is to me was my second favorite match of the night.
Great match.
The Andrade match being the first.
Mm.
But yeah, this was one heck of a match. It's I mean, they threw the kitchen sink at each other, and
yeah,
I
for
think
real.
both guys look great. I like the ending with both guys almost wanting to hug it out in a show of respect, and then Ospreay obviously popping up was great. And only thing I would say is it's very WCW intro video package they did for Ospreay. I guess he is being brought back to life.
Right. Jeez.
Yeah. As someone who just watched The Langoliers,
that's right,
1995 made for TV film, shameless plug. Check out Bachman's Basement.
Coming tomorrow on Bachman's Basement.
Yeah, it had very much of that kind of feel to it of like, man, y'all could have spent a little more time on this production wise, but outside of that, it was cool.
He he worked Wednesday night and the commentators were really putting over, hey, let's see how his game changes after he's had the surgery. And I'm like,
it didn't.
Well, I think he'll still hit the high spots he wants to hit. I do not think we're going to get 100% the same guy because I think he's actually said in interviews that, he understands things are going to have to change to some degree because he's got a kid, he's got a family now. So like he's got to think long-term, which, kids, not to ruin it for you. Pro wrestling's not real. And, there's a lot more things more important in this business. And the guys in it know that too.
I mean, he's got some great mentors that can also speak to that, even within that company. Someone like Kenny Omega, for instance,
Danielson,
in New Japan, Tanahashi,
yep,
etc. He's worked with some people that's careers probably ended way before they should have because of the way that they sold in matches.
Right.
So that would be the main thing, like his high spots and stuff. It's not the stuff I worry about. It's like the way he takes like a high, he's going to take a high backdrop, right?
Yeah, right.
Comes straight down on his neck as opposed to his back, like that kind of stuff. It looks incredible. But also every time he lands one of those, it reminds me of like Shawn Michaels back injuries and stuff when he would take like those big, huge back body drops and land like that. Maybe it's partially his fault that people do that. But yeah, I mean, do you need that from Will Ospreay? Probably not. Right? Just it's kind of interesting because Bryan Danielson, when he came back, he said he was going to change his style. He had all this stuff and they ended up still going 1,000 miles an hour. So it's always one of those things. It's like when you're that competitive and you're that good at something, it's kind of hard to get into any kind of sporting event or something like that and say, okay, I need to dial it back to like 75% of what I've been doing my entire career.
It's tough. It's not blown. Yeah, it's not. It's doable. It's doable, but it'll have to be. It'll be tough. But I think the thought. I can't speak for Will, but I feel like the thought for some of these guys is, yeah, but that's not what the crowd wants to see. The crowd wants Will Ospreay, and they don't know a Will Ospreay that doesn't go full throttle. Like that's one of the reasons that Austin didn't want to come back when he had opportunities to come back, because his comment was, if I can't be Steve Austin, if I can't be Stone Cold, I'm not going to go in the ring. I have to be able to get them what they expect. So I get that to a large degree. I get that because we've seen veterans holding on, maybe arguably way past the point where they should, and not being able to be the person that you remembered from your childhood. So I hope that Will finds a good mix because I like him a lot. But yeah,
I would almost say like, if he hasn't already, reach out to like AJ Styles, because I think AJ Styles is the perfect example of wrestling at that high level and finding ways to change his style and continue to have great matches in the longevity. Because he's a great example that it very similar to Will Ospreay. If you go back and watch some of the earlier TNA stuff, right, or New Japan stuff, to where he's been in WWE for the past, I guess, almost 10 years at this point, right? Still having great matches, still doing the signature AJ Styles spots, but dialing it back a little bit.
Yes.
And I don't think it hurt him one iota popularity wise.
Not at all. You could argue he was, I was going to say better. He's just as good now as he ever was. I mean, it's AJ Styles. Great pull, by the way. I think that's a really good call. Is that he would, make text the guy or call him up or something and say, hey, let me bend your ear for a minute. Because, these guys all speak the same language. They probably even have to ask questions to each other. They just know what to say. So, like, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, man. One match left. I saved it for the very end. World title. Was it too much, or does that even matter in this company anymore?
It's too much for me. It's not my cup of tea. I did love the Terry Funk. I told you immediately when MJF came out with the Terry Funk the Terry Funk gear on, I was like, well, I know who I'm cheering for in this match. It was already decided at that point. Crazy match. They did some things that like grossed me out even as a horror fan, because these are real people. Like I am still not a fan of that syringe spot. I think that's too much for me in wrestling. You start crossing that line into ultra violent hardcore like the CZW type stuff. I'm not really into that. It's like taking, ECW, which I, enjoy, and going to that next level, which I'm not a huge fan of, especially knowing that these two could just go out and have like a great match without anything needed. That's the other thing, is like, would it have killed them just to have like an Iron Man match? Like, just go 60 minutes, have a good match.
Yeah.
Both those guys can do it, is what I'm getting. You know what I mean? Like, did we, and also the blood feud, like, was there enough build up to have a Texas death match with I'll never challenge for the title stip on it?
Yeah, I didn't like that stip at all. I didn't like it. I mean, supposedly Paige is going to take some time off, so this will write him off TV for a bit. Don't know how long we're talking. He's earned a break, but I don't know. They're going to have to walk. They don't have to do anything, but I imagine they're going to walk that step back at some point. I'm not a big fan of that. Just don't set it to begin with. You could have ended this match a number of ways where he technically doesn't lose, or whatever you want to say. Maybe he was unconscious or whatever. I don't know, but I'm not a fan. It didn't work. Obviously, it fell apart for Cody. It worked here on the show, but I think long term is going to be what tells whether or not if this worked.
I mean, I hope that they go with him just putting a mask on and coming back, Dusty Rhodes style, as I've talked about before, which would be brilliant. I'm assuming he could just win the ring, right? He can't challenge for the title, but he can take MJF's ring.
Ooh, that might be the way in.
Either that, or he wins like one of their, you get an opportunity for the championship things, and it's like, well, that bypasses it because he won the match or whatever. There's a couple different ways, but I think the interesting way would be to take something that MJF loves and has held on to through multiple matches to get that diamond ring.
Yeah.
And MJF has a reason to have to offer him a title shot, right?
I like that a lot. I was just thinking, what if it ended up being like a tag match where the winner of the fall gets a world title shot and he accidentally gets, I don't know, it doesn't mean to be too much comedy, but I'm just thinking he didn't mean to get the pin or something. And he's like, wait a minute, what? Because I'm a man of my word, I'm going to stick to what I say, and he ends up accidentally getting a title shot. I think that would work if you massaged it correctly, but I don't know.
Yeah. How have people generally felt about the Hangman, the people fans that you've talked to? Because I've had friends that love it, and I have friends that were like, that was not for me.
I've seen
kind of in the middle on it.
I've seen both, and this isn't directed at you, but I kind of feel like at this point, if people are pulling their hair out over it, I don't know. I think pulling your hair out over the first time they did stuff like this, sure. But at this point, I don't think you should be desensitized to it. We should never be desensitized to it because it's very, very extreme, no pun intended. But I don't know. At some point, you're like, if you go watch an action film and then you complain about the 12th explosion. Well, what did they put that explosion there for? Well, there was 11 others. Like, what are we doing? And I hate to be that guy that always talks about movies and compares it to pro wrestling, but they're going to do what they're going to do, man. And Tony allows it. I guess he's okay with it. He has to be okay with it, or he would say no to it. I mean, they really want to go there. I think they meaning the company, have John to thank for them going to this degree. I think if John wasn't an advocate of going that far, again, can't speak for John, don't know him, but I think if he wasn't an advocate for going that far, nobody else would feel empowered to maybe go that far too. It's interesting, man.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is some of for me, the most memorable spots in the match don't really have to do with that. I mean, those stand out because I've seen them on social media about a bazillion times.
Yeah.
But like, for instance, MJF hits Hangman with a pane of glass and then yells he's not going to do any of this indie garbage and begins to sweep up the glass.
Right.
I think that's a great comedy spot. Him
awesome.
Running around the ring and Hangman chasing him for a while and then just turning around and waiting for him was pretty great. Like,
that was awesome.
The dog collar spot in itself is a classic, and I think was very effective as far as the finish goes. There's a lot of things that's like, did the light tubes actually make that match any better? Did the syringe make that match any better? It's like that kind of, it's more of that for me than anything else. It's like, did it add anything to the match that wouldn't have been there if they just had a match?
I don't think so. I mean, they got, everything's got to be gimmicked, and I'm a big advocate for gimmicking everything. Everything should be gimmicked. From the chair to the light tubes. There's no reason for anybody to sit there and bleed to death. We saw what happened to David Arquette. It could have killed him that night because they used real light tubes. So, like, never again. And
oh, man. He made the mistake of wrestling Nick Gage. That's on. He made the mistake of wrestling Nick Gage as the guy that won the WCW title. Nick Gage still upset about it.
Right. Yeah. Texas Matthew, you're going to see some gruesome thing. JP, you're not wrong. Maybe JP's okay with my comparison to the movie. That's good.
Yeah, I agree with that to some extent, but it's different when you're watching an action film versus two people.
Sure, it's not real. It's totally.
Shoving a needle through someone's face is a little different than watching a Michael Bay flick.
That one individual spot, it hurts. Yeah, but everything hurts. I mean, if you're saying, Tom, would you rather take that big body drop on the bare floor, or would you take the needle through? I think I'll take the needle through the mouth. Thank you.
I don't know, man.
I'll recover from this. I'll recover from that. It'll be ouchy, but you land me on my back enough times, I could get effed up for real. Like, yeah, I'm good. Right.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I like the match. It's there's just some things in there that's unnecessary. Really,
I agree
for me. But there's a lot of AEW fans that really love it. So
that's true.
They give you a little bit of everything. Like they gave me that Andrade match, which was my favorite match on the show. So it's kind of good match. At some point, it's hard to complain because they're trying to appease a different audience than like mainstream wrestling or even ECW fans. It's a little mixture of both, and it's a combination of all the talent that they have there that came from all these different companies. Like you said with John. His background being CZW. Mm-hmm. And then you get like your New Japan guys and you got, some old heads from WWE. You get like a good mesh of styles. And that's one thing I do like about AEW. I think there's a little bit something for everybody for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't disagree with that. Good mixed bag of things. Variety shows, they say. Well, kids, we've went a heck of a long time today. Longer than we usually do. And I don't think we're going to do the open floor today, kids, if that's all right with everybody. I got a birthday weekend to get to. That's tomorrow. So hopefully I'll make it through that okay. I'm still here. They ain't killed me yet. They've been trying, but it hadn't worked yet. Chris, thank you again so much for coming on, as always, man. Go ahead and plug your stuff before we get out of here.
Sure. Check out Bachman's Basement. Tomorrow is the Langoliers, where we discuss the 1995 CBS film, The Langoliers, starring Al from Quantum Leap. If you're a Quantum Leap fan and want to see him do more time travel, that's there for you. And then the Patton Report. It's on hiatus at the moment. It is coming back as a stream. I am working on OBS layouts and shows that I want to do. It will be more playthrough type things, but it's going to be fun for sure. So be on the lookout for that. We'll keep you guys up to date.
100%. Ray jumped in here with his last minute question. Ray, because you are all awesome, we're going to let you have this. Let's see, Nas or Common. I don't know enough about Common to have an opinion if I'm being real. I'll say Nas. Part 2, Tribe or DOS Effects. That's a tough one. I'll go Tribe, but that is not easy. And if Adam Cole invited you to the grand opening of the Adam Cole free couch in any color couch store, oh my God. All right. What color? I got cat, so I guess it would have to be black. I don't know. It wouldn't hide the hair too well, but and said you could give one to a friend. Would you please call Shore later want to get grilled shrimp, mixed veggies, and a cup of coffee and some apple pie? Can I join? Absolutely.
I'm going to go Nas. I like Cameron, but yeah, Nas over.
Oh, was that Cameron? I thought it was Common. My apologies.
Hey, Ma, what's up? Let's slide. I guess Tribe Called Quest. Yeah, I'll take Tribe Called Quest over DOS Effects. And yeah, of course, anytime I will have a cup of coffee. I don't know about the mixed veggies. I might skip the veggies, just eat the shrimp. I miss the couch color of this. Something dark, like navy, preferably. I have cats, so if they vomit on something, I want something that's easy to clean. Nothing white or beige.
Yeah, terrible idea. We have dark blue in my living room. So there you go. Chris, thanks as always for coming on, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, kids, there you go. That there was Christopher Ray Patton. Before we get out of here today, kids, I'm going to end with this. I've been doing this show since 2014, and we always keep it wrestling friendly. And that's my goal every episode, is to keep it wrestling friendly. One of the channels I broadcast to is a pro wrestling websites channel. And I'm here because they invited me to be on. I used to write for them for years, and that's Wrestling Rumors. So I got a lot of respect for the owner of Wrestling Rumors and for everybody that works there and still works there. Not sure what the status is of that site at the moment. The idea from day one of broadcasting a live video version of this show, which has been going since 2014, was to, build engagement and meet new people and stuff, which I have, and it's been fun. People can argue with me all day if they like. As I said before, I have booted people from the chat before. I booted one today because I'm not here for that. I'm just not. And people can choose to disagree with me, and that's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter to me if you disagree with me at all. That's perfectly fine. But you have the power to not watch or listen. And while I don't want to lose viewers and or listeners, I understand if you don't like my point and you'd rather move on. I say thank you for listening and watching, but I certainly don't want to keep you here if you don't want to be here. So I will not apologize for having strong points and strong viewpoints. I don't conduct shows where I yell at co-hosts or my audience. It's not who I am. I take pride in that. And I won't change my format. I have no reason to change my format. But I'm also no longer going to put my head in the sand when it comes to some things, okay? And if that makes people uncomfortable, it is what it is. I do not believe that everyone who says something dumb, they should be persecuted for the rest of their days. I've said plenty of dumb stuff in my time. I should hope that we can all be adults and move on. But when you get to the degree of some of the terrible things that some people choose to say with no remorse, I got a big problem with that. It's okay that I have a big problem with that. I'm allowed to, and I will not apologize for having a big problem with that. Having said all that, I've talked enough. My throat's dry, and I got birthday cake to get to. So I'm going to go do that. To everybody that continues to watch and support the show, it means loads to me. Thank you so much for always hanging in there. And I appreciate you very much. Bachman's Basement, brand episode dropping tomorrow. Ray Sports and Slams Monday. Tom Clark 6 on podcast Tuesday. Bear Mode, a podcast review of the Bear Wednesday. And right back here a week from today, you got it, Tom Clark's main event. And then Bachman's Basement, we start the whole thing over again. No sleep till Brooklyn. Okay, and no rest for the wicked. That's all I got for you, kids. I appreciate you very much. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me today. Thanks for being patient. Thanks for being awesome. I appreciate you very much. Kids, have a great weekend. Be safe out there, and we will see you next time.
Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event.